Oh, you mean the tag? Oh, you switched the scene.
Sound. There we go. I think you can hear me right there. Let me know, chat. It's an experimental stream, so some things are probably not going to be as tight as they should be. That's okay. We have not done a versus stream yet, so this is our first versus grand finals here on the Fight the Tide. It is obviously a new game mode. That means kind of new perspectives, new ways of looking at things, and new ways of trying to bring this to you guys that are a little bit different from our usual straight to the box, run through maps, very high difficulty challenges. Joining me here today, we have Gennady and we have Cooley in the casting booth, such as it is, as we get ready for our two teams here, which will be Rathid, Martin, and Tiny URL. I'm not going to say that whole URL, to go at each other over the course of 3 maps. The map pool, I believe it is Righteous Stand, Engines of War, and then if a decider is needed, we will go to Fort Braxton Booker. But let me give Gennady and Cooley a chance here to discuss things. Gentlemen, versus mode, what do we make of it? How's it been going so far here on Fight the Tide?
It's been going pretty well so far, I must say. Versus, I mean, it just released basically, and we already tried.
Oh no. See, this is what I was saying about things going wrong. Cooley, are you there?
We're trying this for the first time.
We lost your microphone immediately.
I got scared.
My headphones are breaking, my microphone is breaking, it's all breaking apart. But hey,
we lost it. That's okay. That's life. Anyway.
All right. Anyways, yes, this is very experimental first start of trying to get this going to see where it goes. We had a lot of issues yesterday with crashes and all, but I think today we are running first tests so that the teams are ready to be set up and have hopefully no issues this time, and then they can actually get going, which is going to be quite interesting. We have quite the teams fighting against each other here today.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, I know that you guys have been running like a series of matches over the last week or so to get us to this point here with these two squads. And when we actually start getting into, I think, the mix of the versus matches, we can probably discuss things like strategy and whatnot a little bit more. But I mean, Cooley, I'd love to hear from you as well. Have you heard or have you seen kind of how trends have developed here in versus mode, maps that people prefer, for example? I mean, I know we're starting with Righteous Stand, or you know, the ways that maybe strategies have developed just a little bit.
Well, yeah, for sure. There have been a lot of things developing already. Part of it we anticipated. That's why we are also running a tourney versus mod that changes a little bit how versus plays itself, but also the maps. So far, I think the favorites are actually the 3 maps that we're gonna see today, at least 2 of them. Against the Grain and Screaming Bell are not so much really liked between players because they are rather short and fast, and the faster the game is, the harder it is for the specials to succeed here. And that's kind of the big story of versus right now, that the balance is still shifted a little bit too much to the heroes rather than the specials. And with the versus tourney mod that we currently have, we try to get rid of some of the egregious things that favor the heroes a little bit too much. Like, for example, the amount of wounds they have. They in official versus they can go down 3 times before they actually die, and we changed this so you only have 1 down, just like in regular Legend or Cataclysm.
Oh wow!
And I think I think this was a good change, honestly, because we haven't seen a single draw yet, which was our main goal with that mode. Because otherwise, you can expect the teams to be really, really good individually and collectively, and it is kinda expected to be or to get through the map with the heroes. And now we have seen a couple of team wipes actually, and I think we're going in a good direction here. I'm really looking forward to see what team comms we'll see today from the teams, and also the strategies or like the setups that they have as specials. Yesterday we already seen some amazing plays on both sides, so I'm really looking forward to today.
It's really interesting that you brought up kind of the need to balance it out, because I think, my experience with Versus has been a little bit limited, but when I remember playing in the alpha, I think that was my big takeaway, was that the heroes did seem just a little too powerful, especially when you put, a guy who's been playing for say like 2,000 hours plus behind the controls right there. Just like pure aiming alone is going to be problematic. So it's interesting that you brought that up and say that you guys had to balance out of it. We are just, by the way, so you guys know what's going on, I think we're just waiting for both of our teams to kind of fill out and jump in. I should say just some sort of nuts and bolts issues for those of you who are joining us. Obviously, never done this before. Well, I don't think, guys, did you stream any of the other games before this? This is the first one that you've streamed on the main channel, right?
Yes, this is the first we're gonna stream on this channel. We had, I think this is the right decision, because yesterday we had massive delays because of all the tech issues. But now I think both teams are ready. I honestly don't know what they're waiting for.
So just to maybe the go ahead from us. I don't want to hold them back if they're eager to go.
I don't think so. I think we're missing a stream, or am I?
Yes.
We are missing a stream here. We don't have, I believe it's AGSK or AKG Skull or whatever. We don't have the, we unfortunately don't have the stream there from them just yet. So to go to the nuts and bolts of it, folks, just so you understand, we never really tried this before on the stream, so it is going to be a little, I imagine, interesting to see how it plays out. We do have a head-to-head screen where you should be able to see both teams' perspective. That is a very raw thing that we're testing here at Fight the Tide, so it's not necessarily going to be absolutely perfect. We're going to go ahead and take a look here, see if we can get no, we've got AKG Skull. We're waiting on Combine, I think, to get the stream started. We will be able to provide you with the perspective of both teams. We'll try and give you the two teams together at times just to see how that looks, so we can kind of get an idea of everyone and who's going. It's very interesting to me. I mean, we've waited a long time, I think, right, as a Vermintide community to get the versus mode. It's something that was talked about when the game released. It was something that was talked about like 2 years into the game's lifespan. It's finally out now. I mean, Gennady, have you felt like it's gone down well among the community? Like, have people been super into versus?
I feel like it has been going very well for a lot of people. Like many people have been hyped for Versus for 5 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yes. Yeah. So the interest was there, and it really shows. I checked the Steam charts the other day, and there were quite a lot more people playing in these last couple of weeks. And we'll see if that stays up that high, or if the people will slowly get uninterested again in Versus. That's just how the nature of game updates and so on is just how it's going to be. But one way or another, it looks like Versus has really hit a nerve there, and a lot of people are very interested and curious about it and trying it out, and are really trying to get into the nitty gritty, understand the mechanics, understand how to get better at really coming over as the winner in the end of the game there. And so I really enjoy seeing people also just jumping in new, completely fresh, never played Vermintide or anything like it before, and trying out Versus, and then just getting to experience the rest of the game as well, of course. Like, there's so much more to the game at this point in time now that it is, how old is it? 5, 6, 7 years even?
It's old.
Yeah. It has been out for quite some time.
I you know what? I'm gonna Google it right now, because I do not. To my shame, I don't remember when it released. I want to say it's March 8th, 2018.
There we go.
Yeah, it's almost 7 years old. So yeah, it's a whole child has gone into kindergarten, into the first grade, in the length of how long this game has been around. So yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that it's gone down well, and it's been well received amongst players. Like, I do think it was well overdue, and it's something that I think I was just saying to you guys, if it had come out 2 or 3 years ago, I think I would have been so hyped about this. But because there was a little bit of that delay, I say a little bit, there was a big old delay. It maybe didn't hit for me as hard as it did, but I'm glad to see that a lot of people are back into it. It does look like We're getting ready to start on Righteous Stand. So I'm going to show really quick just on screen, and this is literally, I've got 60 something viewers in here. Welcome aboard, everyone. I'm going to show you the head-to-head screen that we have. Remember, this is just a temporary head-to-head screen. Just curious to get some thoughts on it. If you guys can see it, is it okay there on the stream? You go ahead and tell me, and if it looks hideous, you just let me know. Let me see here, make sure that my audio is coming in. That's the other thing that we have to check. But we're taking a look at that right now. We're gonna go, I think, to each of these teams individually. But for now, I'm just gonna flash that for you guys, and we'll consider that a preview of coming attractions. Let's take a look at Rathheed Martin, which is our first team here, and we'll see what players or what they're coming in here with at the start of it. It does look like they're going to come at this with, what is this, an engineer to start us off. What do we make of that?
This is actually interesting because this is almost the same comp they played yesterday, except for the engineer. Yesterday they had a ranger veteran instead of him. I wonder what made them change this.
Oh, they didn't want to play NG apparently. I just saw it in the chat. But
oh, really?
they are rolling with it now, I guess. Yeah, the game still has a couple bugs here and there. This is one of the ones that we also encountered yesterday, where the game just randomly decides to switch careers upon entering the game. But, well, I guess they're going with it.
Well, they will be fine.
Yeah, they'll be. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting choice. And I mean, have you guys seen, I know that don't have a ton of gameplay samples, obviously, but have you guys seen what we could, like, kind of call, I hate to use the term, but like a meta, for lack of a better word, developing here among teams and the characters that they're picking, or certain, I don't know what the right term would be, certain heroes that are just kind of dominant in these versus modes?
Oh yes, for sure. Part of this we already tried to address with the versus tourney mod, just to bring them down a little bit. NG, for example, is one of them, which is really, really strong, mainly because of the Trollhammer, which is not available in the current version of the game that we're playing. That's why he's on handgun. And so from the meta comms within this tournament, we've seen yesterday, I think, was Ranger Veteran, Huntsman, Warrior Priest, and depending on your choices, either Handmaiden or Pyro, which is a really, really strong comp for several reasons. And I mean, is Combine lagging or am I lagging?
No, the Combine is lagging a little, but he also said that it's choppy a little for him, so I believe he just has internet issues in general. But that makes it even more interesting. Engineer, lag, internet issues. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, man, really putting them through the ringer right there. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know, like no mercy for that poor Ranger pick.
I think.
Wow, we're losing microphones. See, this is what we.
No, Ranger Veteran. Warrior Priest is one of the picks that was picked the most in all teams. Like almost all teams had a Warrior Priest so far, which is also understandable because of utility. It's just like unmatched. He just brings so much to the table. Like not shooting specials, of course, but regardless of that, he's just helping so much with the team, with survivability and.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see how that would benefit. And I mean, they've made good progress here already, and of course the opposite side of the coin here is the Skaven. For those of you who aren't necessarily familiar with the Skaven and how they operate in this game mode, the assignments are essentially random, right, guys? In terms of like which special you're gonna come in.
Yeah, you can always choose between two picks when you're playing specials, and the two picks you have are randomly chosen. And then also, depending on the progression, there is a chance that you can also get a monster. In this case, only the troll, of course. This is random. So the team usually that starts as heroes first, is a little bit in a disadvantage because they don't know yet when the monster, for example, will spawn. Because this is also, well, as I said, this is random. And if you start as, if you play hero second, you know when the other team will get the troll, so you can adjust a little and not be surprised.
Yeah, it's interesting that troll is like obviously was that a balance change you guys made, or is troll really the only monster that was available? Because I genuinely don't recall.
The troll is indeed the only available
That's what I
monster
thought.
currently, yeah. But as far as I know, I think Fetchmark is still cooking, so we'll see
Oh
if
yeah, no,
this changes or not.
I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing all the monsters in time, or most of the monsters in time, and it's
I want a
interesting too.
Minotaur.
Ooh, you want a Minotaur?
Yes.
That would.
I mean, I want to charge people. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I just run at them and swing your angry axes. Yeah, why not?
Oh, they got a troll now.
They do have a troll. Yeah, their tiny URL audio is a little soft. I'm doing that for kind of like two reasons here, because I don't want to necessarily give away anything that they're talking about per se. But yeah, they did discuss kind of how they wanted to do the troll, and it's so funny to see somebody play the monster so strategically, like to just peek the corner and vomit and then run away. When you think about how the AI plays them, it's so different.
Well, this is actually the way you want to play the troll, because now you see how fast the troll can be taken care of if you actually engage a team that is coordinated. But the troll's strength is really that puke from long range. You can think of him like a bigger gas threat, but just with puke instead of gas. And he's very, very good with denying areas and also the AoE. Well, stagger and damage and annoyance with all the puke. So it's a very, very great initiator, and he has more value if you don't engage directly, but just keep back and play him like from a distance.
So that was a successful completion right there for Ratheen Martin, right, of that stage of the map.
Absolutely. They did great. They really pushed through there and didn't really wait a second. This is also something that is very, very much one of the things that you have to get used to just push and push and push and not get stopped from anything. Even though it might be sometimes the game might be in a situation where you kind of want to take your time with maybe a couple enemies here and there, or maybe hunt for that one guy, one special behind the wall. But as long as you just keep pushing through, the game gets.
It does feel like the versus mode really encourages like fast movement, right? Like you don't want to be caught lacking, or you're just gonna get eaten basically by what your enemies can put together. Let's take a quick look. Speaking of what your enemies can put together, let's see a quick look here at Rafty Martin and see I got a rattling gunner waiting at the door and an assassin, and what is that, a pack master down there on the bottom?
I think so. I would really like to see if they have a special setup here for the start of the map, because yesterday they had an insane, almost a full team wipe right at the gate here. So I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do now.
Well, that's pretty nasty to get the rattling gun. Well, that's a nasty combo right there, actually, to be fair. Oh my gosh! Wow, that was cool. I appreciate what they were trying to do right there. I unfortunately that didn't quite work. Yeah,
this was already very successful. I think they got almost like 1 health bar worth of damage into the full team.
Yeah.
So that
Pyromancer's low, Huntsman is low. There's a lot of damage done already, and that right at the start.
Oh, the shade is really dropping here. That's problematic. I'm gonna switch over so we can see it. The shade's super low in terms of overall health, which that's gonna be 5 is rough here at the very start, and then Huntsman under half of his hit points as well. So that set piece ambush at the very beginning, very effective.
Yeah, I would expect the shade to being focused, and there she goes down. This will be rough. She's in the middle of everything.
Oh, they're kind of It's getting eaten alive. This is no good. These gunners on the roof, it's like Black Hawk Down. They're just trapped in the middle of Uberschreit getting shot from the rooftops. It's terrible. Nothing you can do, I think, really about it, unfortunately for them. I mean, they fought their way out of it, but yeah, the shade is on the death state because you guys balanced out the wounds, so that's just nasty. I mean, I hadn't really considered the concept, this just shows that we're kind of plumbing new strategic depths here, but I hadn't necessarily considered what a good idea would be to just grab someone and just double rattling gun them, like gangland execution style. But it works out quite well. I mean, they do get the heal here on the shade, so that's gonna, I think, extend the lifespan of things a little bit here for the whole team. But certainly, I feel like we're seeing Rathid Martin put up a pretty nasty fight here at the beginning, just in terms of pure harassment.
Certainly.
Yeah, who spawned
Yet
in as the
Tiny
pig?
URL is still managing to pull through so far. They have one spare healing, maybe two.
2 even, yeah. Oh, even the third. They're
So
very healthy.
they're looking healthy right now, but we know that the monster will come up in the staircase after the final event, and quite curious to see what Rathid Martin is gonna do with that.
Yeah, staircase can be nasty if you...
Because this
Lucky.
arena usually, I mean, obviously this is a lot of space, which doesn't favor the specials because they have no real cover, and that's also, I guess, the reason why the heroes are holding in the middle of the arena, so that they don't get surprised by close range spawns like flamers, and also close range hook rats.
Right?
And
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
I don't expect a lot of action here right now. Maybe they're waiting for their chance after the mid event.
Well, they've summoned the Vermintide. That's never. I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we got that on
nice
stream.
shot.
That was very
Ooh.
funny. the beginning and end of the
Invis.
Skaven Air Force right there. This did not work at all. That's okay. It's the thought. It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts on that one. I want to switch over to this Poison Wind Globadier, who I think is setting up for a nasty little maybe ambush if they can get them all in kind of one position, which is what they're, I think, looking for. The Rattling Gunners do. I will say, I do feel like the Rattling Gunners seem to be probably the most effective special right now. I thought it would be Poison Wind Globadier, but I feel like I haven't seen a ton of Poison Wind Globadier like actually hitting hard, though this is a good cutoff that it's been made here.
Yeah, the Globadier really shines when you have already initiated and you can farm the damage. The Gatling Gunner by itself is just super strong. If you already have someone pinned, then the damage is just really obscene, but you can also just be like annoying from the distance and keep on slowing them down and chipping away of them. I wonder when we'll see the troll. I think the troll is on the map very shortly.
The troll is on the map. You can see that TSI RP right there has the troll out, so we know that the troll is coming in. And let's this Poison Wing Globadier, by the way, that's just nasty to throw that point blank. But let's go ahead and look at the perspective here from Tiny URL. Wow, that troll's getting melted though. A valiant effort, no doubt, but just kind of destroyed, honestly, which is, again, this is probably one of the things where I was saying earlier, I feel like you talk about the players are quite strong, talented players, they just know what to do, right, to handle things like trolls or what have you. And because you're not getting like a giant perk tree or whatever as a troll, I do feel like it makes it a little bit harder. I honestly, kind of to go back to what you were saying last time we saw the troll on screen, I think it was Janati, you were saying really the best thing almost to do is kind of what they initiated with when Tiny URL went on the defense, which was just kind of spewing vomit down the staircase and running away and just trying to use the ranged weapon almost as a control factor, because when he got into melee, he just got kind of staggered out.
Yeah, that can happen quickly, that you just get staggered constantly and then nothing you can really do about it anymore, because the other specials, of course, cannot really help you in that sense.
Right.
You're really the biggest character in the scene there, and if you can't get yourself out of there, you're quickly dead. And both teams managed to kill the boss there very efficiently and very quickly, so kudos to them. But We'll see. We have a 160 to 160 here. Next round is starting. This is gonna be interesting. I love it.
Yeah, we're kind of cooking with gas here. I mean, I thought just based on the way things went at the start, I thought we were going to see a little bit of a different game here, in terms of maybe Rathid Martin just being a little bit stronger on that Arat side. But no, really, at the end of the day, pretty evenly matched these two teams. So maybe we will end up going all the way to Fort Braxenbrücke at the end. We'll see. I mean, that's a lot of gameplay to go through, and it's so interesting to me as someone who comes from a world of lots of competitive competitive gaming and commentating on competitive gaming, to see that brought over to Vermintide is wild. Because I feel like really there's so many little nuances and stuff to discuss and strategy stuff that we could discuss, and it's just like we're very much at the start of figuring it all out. So I'm quite about it. I think it's quite fun in a way.
Yeah, I think the strategies are all still developing. It's really fun. Like the fundamentals are there, of course, but it really is still developing. There are builds brought up every day. Basically, there are new ones that are
No.
forgotten talents, just getting used again and again.
This is brutal. First of all, that staircase is awful.
Ooh.
Second of all, they have just absolutely shellacked that poor engineer. He does survive. Thankfully, the team rallies there, but he's already on, I think, his death state here. So that is unfortunate. By the way, great balance change, I think, to bring the death states in like that. I will say, just as an aside, because when they have multiple wounds, I think it is a little too hard to make it stick. Plus, I feel like it ups the stakes. Okay. So here's the thing. By the way, I want to say, there's the guy I want to be. I want to be a chaos warrior. I want to have access to the chaos specials. I'm sure they'll come. But like I was a little disappointed when I checked into versus mode for the first time.
That would be funny.
And I couldn't just summon the blight storm or whatever, or like suck the life out of someone. I was a little disappointed. I was like, I hope that we get to see those one day, because I want to be able to teleport into the middle of a team and just do the little
I just would love to control the storm myself and corner the teams, you know.
I feel like if they're gonna do it, the storm is gonna have to be changed somewhat, because that is just nasty. That would be so nasty. But I mean, the poison wind globadier is already kind of, I think, that probably nasty in the same sort of area control sense, and we saw a little bit of a good effort right there. I do have to say, I think both teams are doing a good job with kind of the coordination of their attacks. I mean, we obviously saw on the staircase, but I do feel like there are these kind of mid-transition moments between various parts of the map where it does feel like they're sort of just jumping in one at a time, like that poison wind globadier right there jumping in without really any backup. Does perhaps feel like it's not the most effective. And similarly, what we just saw with that assassin kind of getting caught out with no backup there, I feel like if the Skaven aren't going in together, they're really doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah, for sure. But even though you said it already, there are some spots on the map where a setup and a strategy is really working very well, and there are other parts of the map where you just can't do a lot just because of how the map layout is, and
Sure.
all you can do is just pretty much just go in one by one and get some chip damage, because it is worth it getting chip damage here because of the wound change and the limited amount of health the teams have. And right now, though, we have a troll on the map with a double puke to start it off. And as you can see, he's immediately retreating. I think the puke is on a 24-second cooldown, so he has to wait a little bit and play the hide and seek game, but he will come back.
This is so funny to see.
Even though he's just crouching and checking out the wall.
he's recharging his vomit.
This is what peak gameplay looks like. You might not like it.
It's turned into a tactical shooter with the troll.
But this will probably be a big puke if he gets it.
Yeah, this is a nasty setup that they've got here, actually. This is, I think, probably the nastiest thing we've seen any team face so far. Trapped, I mean, it's a good use, by the way, of this elevated platform. I had never thought of the idea of ducking underneath like this for defense. That also has, I think, averted perhaps the worst of the puke, but there is no doubt that this is a a nasty little trap that they've been caught in right there. Good shot, by the way, on the engineer. We didn't quite see that on the stream, and I want to bring that up, give a chance to see what they're doing. Since the Biotroll gameplay, I know that is peak gameplay. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit more exciting. To see the monster kind of come in, but he's being strategic. I can't blame him for doing that. So we'll go back to the team here and see how they're handling it. But
I mean, the reason why he's playing like this is because you see they have still 2 bombs and a strength potion. The troll has
they'll
around
melt him.
he has around 600 health, and the damage dealt and taken works a little bit different in versus. But with a strength potion and 2 bombs, you can almost pretty much insta kill a troll. Especially considering that he already has like 30% less, 30% health damage taken. So it's really advised to not engage right now. But I wonder why they're not pushing. They do respect the troll, you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, the troll is really a strong character that you can put into those situations. I mean, a troll that just is puking them, or even engaging on top with 3 other specials is just so strong. If this is happening at the same time, you can really pin a team down, or even wipe an entire team, really, if you do it properly in a tight corner or something. Like this is a very strong situation.
It's wild. Like this is from a lore perspective, this has been like I think, because he just got melted. He was like the world's smartest troll. Is the Warhammer Fantasy. Like he was essentially like the Einstein of trolls right there. Like no troll has ever been that intelligent in the entire history of the game of Warhammer. So good for him. But that was wild. I mean, it was played very well, and it slowed them down a significant amount. I do kind of feel that, well, once they caught him out and he's gone, though, what is the kind of long-term, I guess, impact of the troll? I guess there was some sustained, or like, I guess, attrition damage, for lack of a better word, that was kind of done here to the team. Like, we've got some people whose health bars are lower as a result. I guess that's actually a good thing to talk about, and something I hadn't really thought of until now. But kind of what is the win condition for the Skaven, for lack of a better word? Like, what do you have to set up? Are you playing purely on the idea that you're going to wear the enemy team down over time? Are you looking for a big set piece that takes a player out of contention, like, right away? Kind of like what they did at the very start of all this. I mean, what's your plan? What's the most effective plan moving forward as we see a completion on another stage?
We do see that, yeah. I mean, the end goal, of course, is to kill a hero, because this is the best way to guarantee that you might end up winning, which is also, you want to kill the heroes. You want to make them wipe and not complete the map. That's what you want to do as specials. And in order to get there, sometimes you have to go for the attrition fight, which I think they tried to do a little bit with the troll there, because they were low on health items at the end, but it didn't really work out, but it can work out. And then if you pair this with a little bit of attrition here and there, and then like maybe a double or triple disabler at the same time, with like a gunner also dealing the damage from afar, you can get a kill real quick. And usually, that from what we've seen yesterday, getting that one first down can pretty much snowball into a team wipe very, very quickly, because the players are capable to adjust fast and really make you pay for having one less player. Yeah.
Okay. That I think is a good kind of discussion. I mean, excuse me. That's a good aspect to make right there. Pardon me 1 second. Oh, my voice.
You're dying.
I'm good. No, I'm good. It just phlegmy this morning. Apparently, of course, I would be phlegmy this morning, but very good. No, that's a good answer. I definitely get. I think the idea of just trying to get one hero down is being like sort of the linchpin. It just feels like, especially for the attritional stuff, it feels like there's enough healing and enough sustain out of most of these heroes that they can really kind of pull through. I say that, though, and this situation is going from bad to worse here for Tiny URL, because Falco lost almost their entire health bar right there out the gate. And honestly, the Kruber as well is not looking much better. That's a AKG skull right there who's lost a bunch. And I don't, yeah, there's some heals coming in, but definitely not enough. And the Huntsman will go down. The Ranger will go down as well. And okay, maybe we're seeing our first kind of bad ending here. The Hook Rat comes in as well. Color Code is saved there at the last second, but I think that it's going to be a real fight to get this Huntsman back in it. And they will get them both back up, and they get caught by the Poison Wind as well at the tail end of that. What a mess. And what a good
What a great
hit.
recovery, though.
That was a great save. Holy shit. That was amazing.
That was nasty. Nasty from that. Good stuff from both teams right there, because we had, like you said, a spectacular recovery, but a great setup and an ambush there from the side of Wrathheed Martin as well. And that is a, the healing comes out early on. I mean, look at Huntsman's nearly back down again.
Yeah, the barracks here is really one of the hardest parts of this stage because it's so favorable for the specials because you can get so many close spawns and flamers deal a lot of damage there, gas as well. You don't see a lot of assassins here, but more like hook rats. And the amount of damage you can put into one team very easily, very fast. I mean, we just saw that.
Yeah, these whoever's playing the, I believe is it maybe Gutter Monkey, not Gutter Monkey, GUH. I don't know who that is from this lineup, but the double taps with the Poison Wind Globeteer right there were so nasty every time where they were trying to revive. They just got you know, they got somebody coming in and double tapping. I'm gonna switch over to this to Wrathheed Martin really quick because this is gonna be an amazing Skaven. Leapy's got it. Look at that. What a jump. You should have seen the setup for that was bonkers how long it took him to get up on the wall. I couldn't show it on screen, but you love to see it. That he just smoke bombs away as well. And it does look like we've got a hot troll action coming in here as well. So the full 9 yards here for the Wrathheed Martin side, and a rough start to this stage for the team from Tiny URL. They already have, I think the Warrior Priest is down now. Kruber's been hooked. So this is falling apart. This is much more brutal, I will say, than the first stage looked at any given point in time. And this poor Huntsman has just been used and abused by the Skaven here throughout both of these stages. And here comes the troll.
Then the troll puke on top of it.
Oh, this is brutal. They do not want that Kruber to get up, which again, it makes sense. This is what you're talking about, Cooley. The kind of inflection point right there is to just try and kill a hero. But the combined AoE, the gas, the troll vomit, this has just been nasty across the board. We've got an explosive barrel in play now. That's going after
Barrel
somebody.
gaming.
Yeah.
You killed the gas.
He got him. He got him.
You have to use any means.
Oh no. Oh no, the Ranger is dead.
They lost.
Oh,
Wait, they lost the Ranger. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Falco's down, which that might we were just saying that was the kind of bad point of this, and they've still got a ways to go here to complete this. So that could be extremely problematic.
And I want to say the troll is still alive.
The troll is
He's very low.
He's
but
waiting
he's
in
still
his.
alive.
He's waiting.
And then down goes the.
That was a
there's
beautiful
no
jump.
way.
And the hook.
Yeah,
Perfect
there's
gameplay
no
there.
way. Let's we'll swap over to the Warpfire
And
throw
the
here.
Warpfire throw on top.
Yeah, who's just gonna come in and absolutely ruin everybody's day with horrific flamethrower action.
Trying to get the revive from below.
Oh, this is just this Warrior Priest, that's color code, has just been quite literally putting the team on his back here to try and get him through this. Like, you must give credit where credit is due. The sustain has been real from the Warrior Priest. The Bile Troll's nearly dead. That's the thing. I mean, they just can't quite get the finishing tap on it. And obviously, the Warrior Priest can keep, getting revives and what have you, but he can't do anything about the Troll. And Kruber's down here as well, so it looks like it's all going to be on the head of Color Code. Color Code just got knocked back somehow. Maybe that was the Troll that did that, and he will go down.
I think so. Yes, the troll knocked him back out.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I mean, as a rule
Wow.
of thumb, you don't want to jump when a troll or a flamethrower is close, because the way the game works is when you jump and you get like an impact, it throws you through the map. We have seen crazy launches already, and that was one of them. Even though,
Yeah.
yeah,
What an attempt, though. Amazing. That took on for quite a long time. They were pushing so hard on this, even though they had one down and everyone was very low. They were pushing and pushing. It was incredible.
but
Yeah,
it is
no,
still
definitely.
a very close game
Yeah.
here for the third stage now.
Yeah, so just to clarify for people who may not be familiar with this, they do play every stage of the map, right? And then it's the overall score at the end that determines the winner
If Yeah, well,
until it's
if
mathematically
there
impossible.
yeah, they if it's not possible to win anymore, I think it will also skip a stage. But now that we're so close, they're gonna play the third one, of course. And the heroes start first now, because if they reach a certain amount of points during this stage, they will win, because the other team can't catch up anymore. Um, if I was good at math, I could just do it right now, but
No, this is not a math stream. You're okay. When it ends, it ends.
that's the spirit.
Don't die, do well. I don't know what else we can
Don't
really
die,
say.
do well.
Yeah, don't die, do well. Though
That's a quote.
Yeah, just try your best. And good. These assassination attempts, assassins are kind of an interesting character to me, because sometimes they can be so effective and sometimes they're just completely useless. I mean, that's not a knock on the player right there. It's just got spotted immediately and shot down.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
yes, assassins are really strong, but they are also. Sometimes I feel like the maps, the world is working against you, just like we saw here, because the ladder, I think, was it who blocked the jump,
Yes, it
and
was.
you'll always be surprised which map props and objects can actually block a jump. Some trees don't, some others do, and yeah. But the interesting part about the assassin also is that it is always a guaranteed amount of damage, because you might not know, but depending on the air time, you deal a fixed amount of damage. So the higher, it's not about the height or anything. It's literally the time you spend in air determines the amount of damage you deal when you impact or when you land on a hero. And this is very, very useful, because you can guarantee like 24 damage every time you jump in as an assassin and time it right. Other than, of course, disabling a player, but usually you pick assassin to get in very precise damage on specific heroes to pick them off and down them.
That's why you maybe is that why you see like we just saw assassins just hovering in the air, like dive bombing the Skaven Stuka going in on the dive right there to try and get the kill. It's so funny. We saw earlier, and I didn't get a chance to mention it because things went south, but it was on Tiny URL. Their huntsman zoomed in on a bird that was just flying because he thought it was a Skaven assassin. So it was good. The reflexes were on point right there.
Yeah, I know that feeling because I'm doing exactly the same. It's just how it is. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we do have the troll spawn up. The troll is currently waiting for its moment here in a high ground position, which is a little scary. That's good.
Big
Good
That's a
vomit.
very good puke. He got
Yeah.
3 out of 4.
That was well
But
done.
can they capitalize on it? They have a gunner. Which else do they? I don't see a lot of AoE damage. Down, the gas is delayed.
I think they're playing very passively here.
How do you
waiting
get
for their
rid of that
moment.
troll that's up there, though? That's like
Yeah,
the
I
huntsman's
wonder what
trying to
they're-
find an angle.
They don't. It seems like they don't want to push yet, really. But they. I mean, there is no timer on the map, so they can take their good time to deal with the troll.
I mean, having a troll in the arena as well is also very deadly to deal with this the entire time.
I think they're pushing now.
They are. Yeah. The troll is still, present. I think he's behind him now, or maybe he's teleporting back to the team. Let's get it. We can actually see live troll gameplay.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, he reset, so they're gonna set up something inside the temple. Fuck, really?
I will say, we were talking earlier about like, oh, what other monsters could you have? If you got a good effort on the puke, but I think he fell a little bit short. What other monsters would you have? Like Minotaur or whatever. I don't feel like any other monster in the game would play this strategically. Like if you were a Minotaur, like obviously you'd want to set up your charge to maximize charge damage, but you're not gonna like be puking and running away as a Minotaur. Like, are you just gonna like hit and run? You're gonna charge and then bail is like what it's gonna look like. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. But
as a Minotaur, I believe it would be more about the ledges that you're playing with. This is also something that Fire Reds really try to emphasize on, and also Hook Reds. Yeah, ledging players and getting the kill that way. That would probably be one of the things that Minotaurs are also. Oh, big puke. Big puke again. Yeah, this is puke. Very valuable.
I don't know what that rat was doing, but it's dead now. His body just wriggling all over the place. I will say it's really funny sometimes to see the rat kind of like deaths, but it does look like Rathied Martin has won. I don't know if that means that they've completely won that stage.
They completely won that. They won the stage and also the map now.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yes. All right, well. Good game there for our two competitors. I mean, I think this has been a very, like, we're one map in. I think Rat of Doom. What is That's AKG Skull. I don't know. I don't
All right. I mean, part of why we're seeing this is that the game currently crashes in modded realm versus crashes in modded realm when you're at the end when you're at the end screen. So the game closed, and whoever stream it was has that picture set up.
Well, I'll come back to the one up right under my camera right now as we wait. I think for the second map to get started. So Righteous Stand goes the way of. That would be Rathied Martin, and I wish that I had the good sense before this started to get us a little score box here so we could see where the overall score of the game sat. But yeah, sure, Rathied Martin will take map number 1. I mean, it was a very good effort. I think from Tiny URL, it did feel like maybe Rathied Martin just had a little bit. I don't know if it was a better hero performance or a better Skaven performance that really got them that win.
Yeah, it was a close call, but I guess in the end, I think Rathied Martin actually were a little bit more efficient on the special side. The constant pressure, you could tell by the average amount of health the opposing team had almost throughout the entire stage. Not only the last stage, but actually all the stages. So usually that's a sign of having like really good coordinated special plays.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah, makes perfect sense that would be a thing. So we got Righteous Stand in the book. We're going to Engines of War. Now, you guys said when we started here today that this was a very stereotypical map pool. What is it about Engines of War in particular that has made it very popular for teams? Because to me, when I think of Engines of War from the prospect of like Fight the Tide, usually this is a very hard map, right, for heroes. Like, this is not an easy map. So why do you think people have kind of glommed onto it as it being a popular map here for the versus mode?
I think one of the points that are very specific for Engines of War, or just in general the 3 maps that were picked, is that Engines of War, Righteous Stand, both in Fort Braxenberg as well, all have 3 stages, while Screaming Bell and Against the Grain only have 2. And also Against the Grain and Screaming Bell have, or Against the Grain specifically has a little bit of a terrain issue here and there where some angles can be a bit rough and the fields are very open, which is not very favorable for the specials, of course. So it's very hard to actually have a good balanced experience throughout these maps, which is not really the case in Righteous Stand and Engines and Fort, of course. So those maps are very decently balanced in that regard. So I believe that's why they really chose those. Those feel very good. They are tight corners where the specials can really do something. They're also open areas where the players really shine, really a mix of everything. and the angles the specials and players can have are also like they're switching around and what really who has the upper hand in that area.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that, but that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Cooley, before you had your chance
No,
to
go
jump
ahead.
in as well. No. You know more about this than I do for sure.
I I just wanted to add that Engines of War is also a great map because it has a bridge, and this will be a little bit of a teaser because the bridge part in the first stage is really fun to play around on both sides, because there's like a tiny little gap in that bridge that the heroes have to jump across, and there are so many really interesting and creative plays that you can set up as the special to deny that jump. And I wish more maps had, spots like this where you can really be creative with things. And Engines is one of those maps. And also the the barrel event, which is really nasty in PvE already, is also kind of brutal for the heroes because when you take damage, the barrel blows up. So the specials have a lot of opportunities to just hit you once from afar and you blow up a barrel and then you are already delayed. So yeah, this will be great to see.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I'll be interested to see that bridge in action as well. I think I know exactly what part you're speaking about there. I haven't played this one on Versus, so I don't know how this map is divided up, so it'll be a little bit of a dive in for me as well. Both of our teams here, I think, are just waiting to get started on this map, so we'll see if it'll take them, hopefully it won't take them too much longer. It looks like they kind of are getting everyone in the game and figuring out their servers and what have you. Obviously, one of the things that has been interesting, I'm sure, about Versus has also just been figuring out kind of the optimum matchmaking experience here for our various squads, but it looks like we are ready to get started on Engines of War. So it is a best of 3 first map going the way of Rathy and Martin. Tiny URL, they'll have to take it back here on Engines of War, and we'll see if they are able to do that. I mean, it probably is going to be a matter of whether or not they can get maybe a little bit more value. I think, at least in my personal opinion, whether they can get a little bit more value out of their Skaven phases. I feel like they just didn't quite do all that they needed to do, but they're picking characters here, so Shade coming back, Ranger coming back, probably going to be, what, Warrior Priest? Yeah, sure enough. And then Pyro? Is that what we think? Battle Wizard Pyro? Oh, no, Huntsman. I don't know why it shows Sienna, but I'm not connecting the screen right.
I have a feeling that most teams are really setting up their characters very similarly despite having different maps, so the maps don't really change the roster of the teams all that much so far. Here again we have also a Pyromancer, Huntsman, Warrior Priest, and Ranger Veteran, although this because of the issue we already had a Outcast Engineer instead, but I think the setup is basically the same that we had before as well.
Right, yeah, it makes sense. Well, let's go ahead and get a sneak peek here of the Reichwald. Where are our Skaven gonna set up for this particular bit here as we get ready to get started? We've got what, a gunner, an assassin, a pack rat, two pack rats, and a gunner and assassin. So is this gonna be what we saw last time with a sort of set piece again, or do you think this is? It looks like they've got an idea.
They must have an idea. I mean, they have 3 disablers and 1 like gunner, which is supposed to deal damage. So we'll see how this is gonna play out.
They're going the other direction. They know there's problems coming out the gate. The players are being very cautious here, but yeah, I want to see exactly how this is going to look. Well, if there was a plan, I don't know that was it. So,
well, that was it.
Yeah, that was perhaps a bit short-lived there. If there was a set piece attack, it just died almost instantaneously. That was a wicked nasty shot, by the way. Whoever got the kill on the gunner, because he was up for all of 3 seconds before somebody gave him the Viking crew cut. So I don't know who it was. I missed it on the kill feed, but that was pretty grim. And just barnstorming forward here, and this is actually again a perfect illustration of what my initial one of my initial concerns about versus mode when I played it in the alpha was just, damn, you just get sniped so easily when you're a Skaven. Like, it's so hard to set up for any meaningful amount of time. But they've got what appears to be a mortar battalion up on the high ground right now, Poison Wind Globineers. So certainly that's causing some problems here. It didn't last very long though, because I think one of them got picked off almost immediately. But the thought was good. I'll give him that.
The mortar battalion.
You saw them coming over the top right there. That was scary. It's like, how many Poison Wind globes are there in play right now?
How about that? Yeah, there are a lot of different Skaven, but you can only have up to 3 at the same time, right?
Of the same special.
The same?
Of the same type? I'm actually not sure. Did we? No, we did not adjust this.
No, exactly.
We're getting closer to the bridge, and I kind of want to see what the specials are doing for this, which setup they have, because they must have one. It's one of the strongest bots for specials on this map.
Yeah, this bridge is going to be very interesting for them.
Oh, what a nice
general.
shot.
I wonder if they are going to have a specific setup for this now, because the specials are not really engaging currently.
Yeah, they are setting up something. You can feel it, and they're taking their sweet time. They're killing off all the
hordes.
And they checked all the spots already. Kruber is checking down below. There's the flamer, who is taken out.
Also, already one less.
They're still not jumping. Now they do it. Everyone got across, but it's not over yet. There's the gunner from the front. There's the gas.
They're very much cornered.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, we have a disconnect here. All right.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Perfect timing with the disconnection here. Oh.
So what
And
happens?
they're cornered.
What happens in the case of a disconnect?
They can pause and have the player rejoin as soon as they're ready to
Looks
rejoin
like
again.
only a disconnect. He's already rejoining.
They're both waiting.
But this is really unfortunate for the specials because they were
spot the boss. Oh no.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for the specials right now because it's such a good spot, and being down a player here is just that's tragic.
Yeah, that's bad luck, especially because it's Tiny URL, obviously, who suffer the drop right there, and they are, the ones that need to pull out a win. So hate to see kind of that happen right there.
We're seeing good sportsmanship here because
yes,
the
absolutely.
just stopped and waited for him to come back, and they didn't progress or anything. And
that was amazing.
Now we're back to action.
No one did anything. It was absolute pause. No one moved forward.
Troll is on the map.
Do my lying eyes deceive me, or do I see beastmen in a Fight the Tide event?
Yes.
Ooh.
What
There are beastmen. The no beastman mod is not a thing here.
Oh my god. Well, I guess no beastman specials, but beastmen exist.
There will be beastman specials, but they will spawn automatically and they are not player controlled, but there will be banners.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's
But this is part of the map here, yeah. Which is a nice pace of change of pace, because the archers are really annoying.
Yeah.
When they spread out and they like to stun you while you're doing things.
Yeah, no, I can see that 100%. I mean, beastmen, like I said, is we usually never see them because obviously no beastmen is a thing, but. Yeah, this is that's another added layer of difficulty, perhaps, to versus mode. This is good troll play, by the way. Here, I will say these are some very good
puke.
Yeah, good pukes. He's really hitting his marks with these and making this much harder. I mean, the combined sort of like Bestigor, puke, Beastman Horde, and archers as well. This is a little bit of a nasty combo right here. I mean, Rathy Martin is handling it remarkably well. Like, they know what they're doing. They've got a high ground position. Now they're just putting fire down on the troll. If he can get away, he can't. Again, it was good effort right there to make that work. And I love this high ground position that they're playing on here, where they're just kind of, using these rocks as cover. They've got elevation. They're trying to snipe, and we'll see here because we have an attempted assassin from GSK or AKG Skull here dropping in. That's a good attempt at the assassination, but just quick reflexes across the board there from the team to make sure it doesn't stick. I will say though, it does feel like they've held them up a little bit at this stage at least, which is good for them.
Yeah, but I think, are we having another disc? Oh no, not another disconnect.
Looks like we might have had another disconnect. Yeah, unfortunate. Color code dropping out right there. Color code getting back in just a second, and this map will hopefully continue at pace. I mean, it is a little bit of a shame that we're having these drops here on, and especially that they're happening on the side of Tiny URL, considering that Tiny URL is fighting to stay alive in this best of 3 here. But we'll see. Maybe they can recover. Color code is on the way back. We've just got a little bit of a brief pause here as everybody resets. We got a hook rat coming in a minute, an assassin. We've got 2 hook rats actually in a poison wind globadier. So let's see if they can do anything with this.
It doesn't look like it. I think the round is over. They just have to get into the basement of the tower.
Everyone having their grenades out.
Yeah, that pretty much put paid to anything that they were going to do that was going to be particularly spectacular right there, let's be honest. I just a solid attacking round across the board. Maybe helped a little bit by those DCs, but in general, really, Wrathed Martin not having any problems at all with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I really felt like the bridge was a little bit.
They were also playing it very strategically at these specific points where specials have an upper hand. Usually, they very much took their time clearing out the trash, clearing out the hordes, and then making their way slowly, covering all angles they could see, and then jumping slowly over the bridge, for example. Or at the end there, they were also taking their sweet time to clear out at the very last enemy that is surrounding them, and as many specials as possible to go around the corner, and even taking care of the troll there. So yeah, they very much take their time when necessary and try to really make sure they're safe.
Yeah, it's very much the fight that tied kind of like planning coming into effect. Those hold points and stuff really like know where they need to go, and I appreciate to see that as well. I mean, I think that was really just well executed. You think back to the rocks and the high ground, and just putting a big wall against your back as well to make it really hard for anyone to get behind you, and so on and so forth. We'll see now what Wrathed Martin can muster on the attack. We saw a set piece attempt here early on in our last game. It didn't really work out. There's an attempted set piece here as well with an assassin and a gunner. It's working a little bit better. I mean, they've got some good health off the shade here to start, and I think that was probably the biggest W that they pulled out of that, which, hey, if you can knock, 80 hit points off the shade at the start, I feel like that's a pretty good opening move for the Skaven team.
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of damage because the healing items aren't that close yet. But usually this open area at the beginning is just you want to get as I was about to say you want to get in a lot of chip damage on the heroes before the bridge. Getting a down here already is very massive.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well, and I will say Shades in particular, I think, have seemed to have had a bit of a hard time just across the board. I mean, I think it was a Shade that we saw getting a lot of health damage very early on Righteous Stand as well, so it's not uncommon. I don't know if that speaks to the hero or just kind of like how things go, and unfortunately there's another DC here as well.
I believe that is one of the strategic elements of the Skaven team here, though, focusing down the weakest player, considering that the Shade is very squishy. I mean, the Ranger Veteran Huntsman, of course, as well. However, they really focus down on the invisibility part there and try to get them down as well quickly and strategically in the beginning. Everyone focusing the same character, which granted them here the down. So they are really in the upper end here with having one down at least. And the health is nowhere to be seen. but yeah, that is another disconnect here. They will probably be moving on in a bit, though.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that these disconnects have just been coming in, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast, I guess. Maybe they'll have a substitute or something that they can put in and maybe keep this rolling a little bit. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I think they do have a substitute player around, though I'm not sure what the teams are doing right now. We'll get the info soon. Yeah, it looks like they're going to sub in Roar is his name? V-Roar is his name? Instead of Color Code.
Color Code seems to have a couple connection issues
that's
here in general.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. Color Code in particular, I think, has been the one who's dropped maybe 3 times so far, or 3 or 4 times so far on this map. So definitely something that they want to try and course correct if they can. And it does look like they're discussing getting their sub in and getting this restarted. And we'll head back to the action as soon as we can here when they're ready to go. And I will say it is good on the teams. They're all being very sort of sporting about the whole thing, not being difficult about it at all in terms of making this as fair as possible. You know, going back, I think, to the broader perspective of Versus and how it's gone so far. How have you guys felt about the general nature of these competitive matches? Do you have most of them been, I'd say, close, or do you think you're looking at things growing increasingly one-sided, even with the balance patches that you guys have put in?
So I mean, from the perspective of an organizer, our main goal was to have the least amount of draws possible, and so far we succeeded with this.
Okay.
And yeah, I do believe that the matches we had so far had they were rather close. Yesterday we had a couple that were actually really super entertaining to watch, and yeah, sorry, you wanted to say something?
Oh no, I'm fine. I was listening to what you had to say.
Okay, yeah. No, so we're good. I mean, the feedback we've gotten so far from the players also is like we are certainly going in the right direction here. At least when it comes to the bigger changes. We didn't make a lot of changes, to be honest, but yeah, sure. We still have to process all this. We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely like a learning experience, I think, for everyone in the everyone in the team, basically, or like everyone here at Fight the Tide. I think you guys were just, we were excited about the idea of being able to bring the Versus in. I know that initially this was supposed to be a traditional Fight the Tide event, and then it just kind of, you guys whipped it back around to Versus with the release. So it's good to see that it's been relatively effective so far. It does look like, by the way, we are good to go here. Tiny URL sub has come in. That's V-Roar. He'll be playing the Witch Hunter captain. And they're getting back into the mix of things now. And we'll see if with the sub and with maybe some less DCs, they can make a little bit more clean effort here to get through. But this middle, this open area has been a real pain for this team to kind of catch us up to speed. We saw the Gabe getting a ton of damage early on there, and then we saw them kind of just slowing down a little bit in this space in a way that I think their opponents really didn't, right? We didn't see Rathian Martin slow down all too much in this open area, and the Shade is now down, and will have to be rescued.
Another down, yeah. They had to use the healing item that spawns in the far left corner already on the elf. Now they have another down to deal with in a very nasty spot, but you can see here why the shields are actually really important in Versus. You don't see a lot of shields in regular Vermintide, but in Versus they are really, really strong because you get a lot of temp HP with them. You can, and most importantly, you can block gunner shots while you're resting. And since you don't have access to weapon properties like block cost reduction and all the other things, the shields innately have all that, or parts of it, and are really, really strong here.
Yeah, I feel like the shields have been particularly good for handling those like surprise gunner attacks, which is I think what you're getting at here in the way that they do it. This is massive assassin leap we're dropping in on. I wish I could show you the full distance of that, but that's going back to what you were speaking about, how assassins do a certain amount of preset damage just based, or a certain amount of damage just based on how long they have airtime. That assassin was going for a while, and what is that assassin? Drops him through the bridge and downs
the
him.
bridge.
The troll comes in on top. We were talking at the start of this about how scary the bridge can be, and well, there you go. Perfectly illustrated right there. With the down, the warrior priest only with 16 health left. Barrel gameplay, of course, getting in and helping out just a little bit. But that was a nasty set piece there from the defenders.
All down there.
Yeah. I think they survived it, Tiny URL, as best they could, but certainly they've taken an unhealthy amount of chip damage coming through here on multiple heroes. I mean, it's never good, I think, in the versus mode for everybody to be below, what is that, a quarter health in this stage with very little temp HP to speak of on most of them.
They're really trying to take their time now and trying to chip.
I do not know how they pull their way out
Waiting
of this.
for the moment.
This seems really hard.
This is what the
rough.
bridge does to teams.
The bridge! No!
Not the bridge. And they're getting the resets. They're getting people back up, but now 2 of your team members are on death state. They will get. Oh, they almost got across. No! They nearly got across the bridge. What hero hook rat hour there from TSIRP to pull him off. Now the assassin's getting involved here as well. Invisible assassin. Just Marcus's twitching body. That
was a massive hook, and now it looks like they had to make the decision to abandon their teammates and get the points that they still can by pushing the cart further. But they are on a timer right now because the specials will come in.
What a nightmare scenario here for the poor members of Tiny URL. I mean, yeah, that was the clutchest hook, I think, and to get them right as they were over the bridge. It looked like they were in the clear, and then they just came back from nowhere. It's just the sub now, V-Roar, the only one left, valiantly defending against the troll, and of course the assassin comes
thrown
in.
into the middle of this.
Yeah, bad news.
Oh man.
And then knocked out as well, just as a final adding
and getting knocked around.
Oh jeez. Where did he end up?
Well, I mean, 170 points to 88. It could be worse. I will say that. It could be worse. I mean, they did really well. I think maybe if they hadn't lost the shade where they did, I do almost feel like they would have been able to push a bit farther. That was just the worst possible timing. Beautiful bridge moment. Yes, beautiful bridge moment. 100%.
That was a bridge moment indeed.
Let's go ahead and look at oh, sorry, I switched to the wrong one. Let's go ahead and look at the Skaven setup here as we get ready to go. This is Tiny URL back on the Skaven side.
Yeah, this starts right at the top of the barrel event, so we're going into right into the action from the start. And the best thing that can happen for a special team here is getting a disable on top while the other part of the team is already dropping, because there is a way up, but it takes a lot of time.
Well, unfortunately,
it doesn't look like they're going for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like they kind of got smoked, honestly, coming out of the start here. 2 of the specials down almost instantaneously. Nothing to be done here from the rest of the crew, as this is a extensive positioning here on this Gunrat spawn. I'm not sure exactly what they're waiting for. Clearly, there's the spawn coming in. Clearly, they have a strat on how they want to do this, but the shooting from the side of Rathied Martin has been so on point here. It almost feels like it's impossible for these gunners to really get good in. I mean, there's a hook right there with a little bit of layered damage onto the Ranger, but a good bubble from the Warrior Priest makes it essentially untenable for them to do too much with it.
Yeah, and the Pyro ult coming for him immediately.
Yeah, the Pyro ult as well. I hadn't even really thought about the impact of the Pyro ult was having, but that's also been kind of just another toolbox here, or another tool in the sort of just instant death toolbox that is being wielded by Wrathheed Martin, where the specials barely seem to be getting things done. I mean, that's not a knock on them as players at all. I'm saying more in the sense that the call outs, the shots have been so on point from Wrathheed Martin that it doesn't feel like there's ever been a really good opportunity for any of them to get particularly involved.
Jumping a lot. How much coffee did you have long? Never seen you.
I mean, I see you in the chat there, color code, saying that yeah, you were playing very
It
scared as
looks
the
like
rats.
they did. They're about to finish the event. We're putting in the third barrel.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing with the third barrel here, because the barrel denial is something that is very strong in general for this event in particular. Just trying to get someone, hit him when they're just carrying a barrel, so you have to restart with this barrel. But it looks like they have focused on getting potential down there in the back and not focusing on the barrel movements, which seems to have given them the completion of the event here.
I mean, there definitely are some low health pools here on the side of Wrathheed Martin. It's not been entirely their way. The Pyromancer is relatively far down. The rest of the team, I think, is doing all right, but there is a weak point there to be focused on if the Skaven team can pick up on it, if Tiny URL spots that and maybe just like jump in or whatever. And it's not that Tiny URL aren't trying to execute strategies, because you can hear them calming, you can see them doing the setups. It's just that the kind of instant kills are such that it just feels like they're not really able to make those strategies work. Let's see now. We've got, I believe, another spawn coming here. It's the troll. So when they get a good positioning for that, they can get their vomit in action here on these canyons, maybe, and then we'll see if that is something that they can really make work. Troll's going as high as he can. He wants the highest ground possible here before he gets started. And there it goes. Indirect fire troll. That's good. It was good. I mean, it was a full impact on, I think, multiple members of the team there, but that Pyromancer temp HP bar is like full now, so that unfortunately will not bode particularly well for the efforts of Tiny URL as the troll scarpers off there to recharge the vomit and come back in again.
I wonder how well troll and gas rats work together in general when there's a troll puke and a gas rat thrown on top of it.
Oh, if you line it up, it's a lot of damage, because the time it takes for the heroes to recover and be able to move again is enough to get in like a couple of really big damage takes from the gas. But now this tunnel section here is where the troll really shines, because he can melee through the wall, which is fair game. And it's a very scary but it looks like they're trying to push through no matter the cost, but they're getting puked and disabled.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
even know what's going on right now. I see fire and puke and bulwark shields.
Bulwarks on top of it and as well. Oh, the warrior priest is hooked.
Fire and puke and bulwark shields. Just another Sunday morning here for Fight the Tide.
Oh, we have 2 hooks up.
You do have 2 hooks up. I mean, this is huge because they've hooked the ranger, and the warrior priest is also down. So that means the bubbles are out. This is the best effort I think we've seen from Tiny URL so far. I mean, the troll coming in now big here as well, and just sort of using that
Huntsman going down as well.
Using the large health pool, using the attacks, getting in there and mixing it up, and yeah, this is a solo clutch situation now from the Pyromancer, getting chased around by the troll as the last members of the remaining members there of Wrathheed Martin die, and this is the biggest stress I think we've seen Wrathheed Martin under this entire time. They've never looked this close to disaster before, so a really good effort here by the members of Tiny URL to shut Wrathheed Martin down and keep themselves in this match. Unfortunately, the Pyromancer will go down. I don't think it's entirely surprising, just given how hard it is when you're, dealing with assassins and whatnot. But a great job right there by Tiny URL to prevent them from completing the stage.
Amazing effort, yes, and it really shines. They also use the horse on top of this in this specific moment there to really cut them down in these tight tunnels with the troll and the hooks and everything at the same time. Really good job there with the
It
coordination.
Is really, not gonna lie, it's a little crappy that you could hook people through that wall and hit them through that wall as the troll. I feel like I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't say that that seems a little ridiculous, but it's in the game, so.
Eh,
Yeah. I think
when
we spoke about this earlier briefly, but there are a lot of things that are prohibited in this tournament specifically because there are a lot more problems that you can face in these games in general with people going out of bounds or glitching enemies into spots where they can't be recovered anymore and such. Like that is all prevented, like so that we took care of most of the very unfair moments that you can have in versus in general. However, there are of course always situations where it's like more of a gray area in which we're playing here, of course.
For next setup.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the game mode is very new. They've been working on it for a long time, obviously, but it is still a new game mode. I think there's still a fair amount of things that they kind of need to sort out about it, probably for it to run seamlessly. And at the end of the day, right, it was never a versus game to begin with, so I mean, I think that is worth taking note of. This is a nasty situation here that Tiny URL have dropped into, where they've been split on multiple angles. The Ranger has just been hooked. They will, by the looks of it, be able to save him, but that was a bad opening there, or a good opening, I should say, from the members of Wrathy Martin to really put the pressure on early. Gosh, they are split. I don't know. I know there was a hook involved, but that poor Shade got dragged halfway across the map.
Hograt's doing some work.
they're keeping the pressure high here right from the start. I
Yeah,
would say the shade I think is gone,
I don't even know where
so
the
they would
shade
have to
is.
deal with
Yeah.
all this. It was just 3 players, but now, just as I said, the dwarf died as
Oh
well.
Oh,
no!
Oh man.
Huntsman still up. Zealot still up, but supplies are low.
What an unfortunate start here for Tiny URL. I mean, honestly, like, they put in such a good shift right there defensively as the Skaven. For them to just have this really nasty turnaround here, that feels just rough. I mean, this is going to be very hard for them to power through this with just 2 heroes. I don't want to say impossible, because nothing is inherently impossible, but it's going to be a rough effort. Good horde management to keep them kind of in place. Give the I could hear the con there, you know, loading the pistols or what have you, so making sure that the Witch Hunter captain has enough time to get everything loaded up and ready to go. They're making slow progress here, but movement, I mean, must be happening, or is happening, I should say, on the side of Wrathy and Martin. Just to give you an idea of where they at, they are definitely setting up some sort of elaborate attack right here, or maybe the Warfire thrower is just going to jump in. But no, it's a hook rat on Kruber from behind. Oh, and that'll be the Huntsman down as well.
It's a
And then
double hook
the
as
double
well.
hook. The hook rat's the decisive factor here on this stage. Those hook rats, honestly, if we're being completely truthful, because we saw multiple hooks right there in that opening area that were just absolutely critical. The long drag out of the shade, and then right there at the end, the double hook as well, and that'll push us on to the next stage. And you just gotta feel a little bit for Tiny URL, because they did so well as the rats, and then for that to happen is just tragic.
It really is, and if my math doesn't fail me, the third stage will not be a long one, so they have to be really, really on point with the special plays right now. I think they pretty much have to wipe the heroes within like this slope area, because if they manage to get all the way down, I think it might be over already.
Well, we'll see what their setup is here. We've got a hook rat, a gun rat, And a gas rat setting up. Gabe has yet to pick, and he'll come out as a warp fire thrower. And already the hero's charging down the slope here, so they're going to have to make something happen early on. They've already lost V-Roar early. It was a quick pick right there. Trying to set up, and you can see the communications coming in. They're trying to figure out where they're going to make their stand, essentially. Hook rat here. Out goes the warp fire thrower. Maybe even kind of providing a little bit of coverage there for the hook rat, who jumps out here looking for the opportunistic hook. Won't find it at all. That is all eyes up on the side of Rathian Martin. They are not getting caught looking. Bile Troll spawn going to come in here. We'll see if it's going to be able to make a difference, though, because it feels like might be just a little bit too late. Possibly give them a chance to deny the area if the vomit can come out really quickly. He is just kind of standing in full view of the team, though, so he's going to get maybe raked by the whole gun line right there. But he's caused problems. I'll give him that. I mean, there's hooks are going out, and oh no.
They're calling GG's, yeah.
Yep, the game has ended. The mercy rule.
Yeah, mathematically impossible there, unfortunately, for the members of Tiny URL to win.
Martin taking the second map.
Yeah, Rathian Martin takes the second map and the series. So good on them here. The first grand finals of Fight the Tide versus mode going the way of Rathian Martin over Tiny URL in a 2-0 set. You know, it was unfortunate, I will say. I think there was a lot of little technical issues and stuff that were hindering the performance of Tiny URL right there. But honestly, Rathian Martin, they look so good. I think especially on their hero portions. The Doom stack, the just instant kill stack was real there from those guys. I mean, what were you gonna do when every time you stuck even the tiniest part of your head out from behind a rock, it was just like an instant snipe?
Okay, I think I'll check if we can, if some of the players want to come in here for a little post-game interview.
Yeah, we can see if anybody wants to hop in and have a little chat about what they think about versus and what have you. But yeah, the Rathian Doom stack, as they're saying in chat right now, just a little too hard to deal with right there. And I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to see 3 maps. I think that would have been fun to just get another viewpoint. You know, see Fort Braxton Brooka, but. Beautifully played by both teams. I mean, really good effort on both sides. Tiny URL had, I think, a brilliant moment there on Engines of War. Just couldn't convert, though, Gennady, and that does happen, unfortunately.
It absolutely does happen, and there was a great effort from both sides, really. We had a lot of situations where it was almost looking differently, like a very, very strong start with very equal scores in the beginning, and then it slowly but surely turned to Rathian Martin winning the upper hand there, especially in Engines of War with the bridges, which was really a peak moment there for
it was
them.
that was a heck of a play right there. I think that was the worst thing that could have happened at that very last moment was that hook coming in like that and then pulling him back down into the little valley. I mean, the bridge in and of itself is an absolutely devastating position on Engines of War. And I think we're trying to see if we can get some members of the team in here, but you know, just kind of like from an overview perspective, because I did want to get you and Cooley a chance to sort of talk about versus mode event, how it went, what you thought. Are you guys gonna be bringing another one of these back to Fight the Tide? I mean, how do you feel about versus mode in general as a kind of competitive tournament format here for Fight the Tide?
That is a great question, and I think that is something that we will have to discuss further in detail in general with the staff. It's definitely not out of question to bring this back because it was really great to see these games being played out. So there was a lot of positive feedback, a lot of in-depth, very great reception going on so far. So the chances is definitely there. We don't know what the plans are going forward with this, but definitely the chances are there for this to come back and see more versus gaming and see more rats on the screen that are actually playing themselves.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a really cool thing, right? To see that in action, and definitely, you know, just watching the strategies kind of develop here. I mean, I do feel like a lot of the strategic initiative or the strategic development has to be on the side of the Skaven, right? Because I feel like the hero strategies are kind of baked in at this point. But yeah, there's got to be some strategic development and figuring out the best combinations and the best set pieces and what have you. And that puts a bit of effort here on the Skaven side of things. I mean, I think we're still trying to bring players in here, and we can kind of bring in as many as want to jump in, and we can talk to them about.
I believe we can have all players from both teams if we want to go down
that
there.
might be a bit much. Maybe just one. Let's just get one representative for both teams. Let's get one representative. We'll keep it.
All right.
We'll keep it understandable.
Okay, I will pull in Lonk from Red Heat Martin, and I'm gonna pull in AK from Tiny URL. Where are they? Here we go.
Oh, I got pulled. Hello. Hi.
Oh,
hello gamers. How is it going?
Doing good.
Pretty good. It was a fun finals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously.
How we did.
Yeah, you're pioneering in a certain way because this is the first grand finals here for Fight the Tide. So you guys are top of the bill. I wanted to give you both a chance to kind of talk about it and how your teams worked around it. But I think we'll start with AK G Skull. I don't know how you like to be called. There's a lot of letters.
You can either say the full tag. You can say AK. You can call me Skull. Any of those work.
We'll go with AK then because it's right at the start here. But AK, I mean, obviously you guys kind of come in second place right there. It's unfortunate. But you put up a good fight. I mean, looking at it from the perspective of sort of the Skaven side of things, what were you guys trying to do in terms of like organizing set pieces? How are you going about kind of dealing with what Long's team was throwing at you?
We realized that Lonk's team was targeting Shade. So we were mostly just trying to have Shade rush objectives and then while they were stealth. And then we would just try to keep the specials down. But they were really getting the Shade like disabled, gunned, and then they were aim punching us. So it was really hard to even just shoot them off, keep them off the Shade the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean,
and then
go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, when you were on the Skaven side of things, obviously you had a really great moment there in Empire or Engines of War where you were kind of using the troll and the wall and the hook rat coming in. What were you kind of playing around? I guess what was your plan as sort of the Skaven? Were there certain specials that you guys were looking for above others? Or were you kind of timing your bile troll spawns to be well, I know you can't time them, but were you using them in certain ways? Because I could hear you guys calming a little bit there as you were trying to set things up.
We're trying to use so in that specific scenario, it was basically hit them hit through the wall. They're gonna have to hold block and dodge against the wall, or like throw a bomb at the wall to stun me. And then I'm gonna butcher his tag. I apologize if he's listening. Vor. He was the hook that grabbed them and pulled them, that left them on the other side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I would puke them, slow them down. I would try to be the wall between me and the hook. That way he can get the lift off. So that way, that's just one player we don't have to worry about.
Right.
And we were able to get 2 of them lifted, I believe, in that corner. So it was just, how are they gonna shoot through a troll and a wall to kill the hook, realistically?
Right, makes sense. Yeah. And did you guys find yourselves kind of falling into playing certain Skaven specials, or one guy is always really good at the troll if the troll option is up, or was it just kind of grab what you can get?
For the most part, it was at the beginning of rounds we would see what we had, try to figure out something we can do team wise on that. For troll, with the initial 3 players that we had, or 4 people we had, we agreed that I had the best troll.
Okay.
So if troll ever popped up, everyone skipped. I get it. And then when Vor joined, it was kind of Troll showed up, it rolled on me, I got it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then I think everything else was kind of like grab a special. What do we have? Combo if we can.
All right. Well, I want to give Lonk a chance to talk as well because I know I'm sure Lonk has some interesting things they want to share about their experience as well. But really quick, I mean, would you do a versus tournament again? How did you enjoy it overall? How did you and the team?
I absolutely enjoyed it.
Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah.
It feels. I'll say it. I think it feels better than the official PvP.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a high praise there for the for the balance mod. But
Well, I think even just having one down maximum per hero is like a massive improvement for the mode.
yeah,
It makes the heals feel like they're actually worth something.
Yeah, because on live there's 4 wounds, right? So if you run a comp that's really tanky, and also you have more broken careers, but like if you run a comp that's really tanky or has really good temp HP generation, like it's sometimes just fine to just go down. Like taking the down is actually a heal because you have 3 more, right? And that I think that becomes really problematic. And a lot of times before we had this lovely infrastructure that like Genodi and Cooley and Plasma helped put together, like huge props to them. Before we had this infrastructure, we were just Q sniping each other in PvP, right? We'd create groups of 4 and like agree to queue at the same time and hope to get the same lobby, and things like this. And those games were always like ties or barely not ties. Like a team would win by like 10 points, and it's mainly because of the 4 down system, and also because like unnerfed Foot Knight with Blunderbuss and things and Trollhammer and all those things like really make the game much harder for Skaven. It's
no
really
doubt about
bad.
it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Skaven are already kind of facing an uphill battle. I mean, Long, to go over to you a little bit here. Obviously, congratulations on getting the W there at the end. And I mean, when you were going into it, what was the main sort of guiding principle for you guys as the hero side of thing, to just get through the maps? Was it really just kind of like heavy focus on the sniping and whatnot? Because I felt like you had the pyro in there, obviously, which adds a little bit to that effort as well. And then your dwarf and your huntsman, they were just absolutely on point when it came to the shooting.
Yeah, so I think in terms of our comps, we actually weren't sure we wanted to run for a while, and then realized that we should just run the things that we're used to playing. Like, for instance, Scudder Monkey is very well known for his huntsman at this point in the community, and so he's comfortable in that career. He owns that career. Let him play that career. And a lot of people know that I like to play Pyro a lot, so I should just play Pyro. Like, no reason to try and like play a career that maybe has technically a slight edge when you have so much more experience in a different one. And so I think once we had those careers locked in, then the other careers were sort of filling the gaps per se. So RV is just like probably the natural next best choice, and then Warrior Priest is unfortunately like required for every team right now. So like you have to take it. Yeah.
I picked up that vibe that the Warrior Priest was absolutely essential, and obviously we saw some very clutch Warrior Priest plays coming out. I mean, from a sort of strategic perspective, much like I was asking AK about, what was your like strategic sort of principles when you were working as the Skaven? I mean, I know you guys and AK mentioned it. I know you guys focus heavily on the shade, but was there anything else that you guys were working around, or why? I mean, maybe go for that hard focus, and how effective did you find it?
So, the funny thing is, we weren't even necessarily, as far as I remember, I could be wrong, we could go back and check the VOD, but we weren't even specifically calling out to go for the shade. I think this group of players is just a group that already has strong instincts and strong team play, and so we didn't really want to like plan out our Skaven side super carefully. We kind of wanted to play off of our instincts that we already trust.
Okay.
And I think those instincts just led us to go after shade a lot, happened to, you know what I mean? But there were definitely like other openers on other careers and stuff too. And I think a really big thing, as you might notice, is like troll play is really essential on a lot of maps, and it plays very differently than you see in like live PvP. In live PvP,
we talked about that.
Someone grabs the troll, they want to go in and bash everyone, and they're just going to die doing that in this kind of lobby. And in fact, you saw we even had some standoffs where the troll, even if they get a successful puke on like multiple people, they still don't go in, right? So I think it's a lot of this like disciplined play of like using the, not getting too excited, but knowing when to fully commit.
Sure.
And then also Oh yeah. I mean, I think. Oh, also big thing is respawning with your team and dying at the right time. So like, if you're like people who play things like Overwatch know this, but
Yes.
if you are losing a fight, it's correct to die on point or die on the objective. So you respawn with your team, but you also force the enemy team to address you as quickly as possible. And so like
Right.
you don't want to like die 10 seconds late on like a gas rat or something. And then like not spawn with your team and then not be there for the next fight. That's actually why like Assassin is so good right now, because if you think about it, it gets all its value perfectly, right? It gets the guaranteed damage on the pound, so it plays around DR and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
They have to deal with it immediately, so you get that distraction, and you die immediately as the assassin. So it's the dream. It's like literally everything you want from the special.
Interesting. I can totally see what you're getting at there with the assassin, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'll ask you sort of the same question that I asked AK. How did you feel about versus, and how have you felt about versus as a whole? And would you do another versus tournament? Would you and the team do another versus tournament?
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
I thought he said school. My bad.
Oh no. I asked you that question. I'm
worries.
I'm going for Log here as well. I want his thoughts on that too.
I mean, I think no worries, Skull. I think like obviously there's been groups that have been interested in this for a while. Like we've had these informal scrims before we even had private lobbies, and then like once we got private lobbies, we were definitely getting scrims together. In the modded server, there's an LFG for versus now.
There is.
Right? Which, y'all out there in the Twitch chat, you should join and use that. Yeah, get some games going. But clearly like the excitement's been there for like that higher level of versus play, because, the pub games kind of get boring after a while, but those games that are actually close between two hard-fought teams are really thrilling and very exciting. And so I'm just really glad that this like event could actually come to fruition. Like huge shout out to the organizers who put this together on like almost no time and made a whole new balance mod in like a day or something in order to like get this functional. And yeah, I'd absolutely participate again. I mean, I think it was just super fun. And I hope the other teams had a good time too. So
Yeah, fair enough. You sound excited, Locke. You sound excited. It's good. I love to hear it. Let me give just an opportunity here. Janani and Cooley, I know I've been asking the majority of the questions. You guys got any questions for these two?
Yeah, I was wondering, Lunk, because you mentioned it, dying on time to respawn with your team. How often, or did you use the die function that we built in a lot?
During practice, we tried it, but then it seemed like it could have been placebo. It seemed like it made your spawn time longer. Like there was a couple extra seconds added to it, and that is like it's literally faster for us to just die naturally than it was to like type die and then wait the extra time.
I believe you did the die. I think it reset your respawn timer. I think.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, because like I'll kill, like sometimes I'll just run off the map, kill myself, and that resets my timer as well. So I assume it's just running off the same thing.
But if the cooldown were the same as dying like naturally as a Skaven, then we'd probably use it a lot.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even realize that the die command was in there, but now I get it. Then that's kind of.
I think it's there. Yeah, I mean, I think it's there mainly so that if you like get stuck or like you can't teleport back to the heroes, you can die. Because we've seen that actually, where like a Skaven gets stuck below the map and there's just nothing they can do, and the hero can't kill them to help them out. It's just like, and that's depressing. I mean, there's lots of bugs in this mode, so this is sort of, I think it was initially like an anti-bug measure, but you could also use it, I guess, a little bit strategically.
I mean, yeah, this would be the other question I have, like that hook pulling players through the wall, which technically was fine because the players ended up in playable area, but do you think that this is okay in the long run, or do you want to kind of don't want to see it?
I'm
asking you specifically because your team was on the receiving end of that, right?
I mean, to be fair, I think we played that section badly. We deserved to get punished, and they had an excellently executed punish. And so, like, our team probably has I'm gonna speak for my team here by saying I'm pretty sure our team has no issue with that, and like it's part of the game. Like we've seen that before.
Yeah.
We know about that spot. We just didn't play around it because in the moment we like forgot or something. I don't know. And so we're fine with it. But if other teams feel that they don't want to deal with that, or that would kind of turn them off from signing up for such an event, then like certainly I would prefer that the event be more inclusive than like it be catered to the people that know all the spots or something. So
Yeah,
but yeah,
fair.
no, I mean, I thought they played it super well. Like they totally deserved that wipe there. That was huge.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean that was one of a great moment of play from your side, AK. So I'm sure you're happy to hear Long acknowledge that. Anything else, Janati or Cooley? Anything else you want to get in here before we wrap this up with these two? I will.
I
Not
got
from my
nothing.
side.
No, good. All right, well, thank you so much, AK Long. Congratulations, Long. Congratulations, both of you, I guess, for playing in the first grand finals here for the Vermintide versus mode on Onslaught. Appreciate you guys giving us your insight as well, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more feedback and development in the days to come. But congratulations and thank you both.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like again, thanks to the organizers for like organizing this in such a short timeline. Like that is insane. Janoti has been also part of the recent Captain Series. Like this man deserves a huge pat on the back in particular. And thanks Corbett for shoutcasting. Of course, great to see you around. And like, yeah, I mean, people should sign up for versus tournaments. Like, I know there's people out there that I've seen be competitive in pubs that didn't sign up. So I'm looking at you. Like, why didn't you sign up? You should sign up. It's fun.
Also, like shout outs to the all the people that Long shouted out, but also shout out to all the people who did sign up and play.
Yeah,
for sure. And of course, yeah. I mean, huge props to all the players for coming together and making this event happen. In addition to the organizers, so.
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, thank you guys. So big ups to you, obviously, Janati and Cooley, and everybody giving you your plaudits in chat as well. I just wanted to give you both a chance, I guess, to do a little bit of a retrospective here on the Versus tournament as a whole, and what you think the future might be. I mean, we heard a little bit from Janati here as we were trying to get these guys in, so I'll start with you, Cooley, on how you felt about things and kind of how you feel about Versus moving forward.
I think it was a great first try event. We learned a couple of lessons. We had to deal with technical issues yesterday. Today was really smooth. We're getting a lot of feedback for the tourney versus mod, so we can work on this too if we feel like it. And I think versus right now is super early on, but things are actually looking really promising. Fetchark is still working on it. There will be more stuff, I guess, in the next year, and so we are really open to keeping this format alive and maybe returning it for another iteration next year whenever. So yeah, we're having fun with Versus, and from the looks of it and from the sounds of it, the players also have fun with it, so that's just a perfect match right now.
Awesome. And I mean, I'll give you a chance here as well, Janati. Anything you want to add in there?
Yeah, I think in general it was a very successful run overall. We completed it, everything. We already said it was very experimental, so we had a lot of issues, not just organizational or just technical issues, but also with a lot of questions being thrown around and a lot of things that were not clear, not very clarified enough, that we also came up with a completely new rule set on the fly, basically just to encourage this new game mode and to make sure that a lot of specific elements of it are also taken care of that are not there in PvE, of course, and a lot of timing situations that we had a couple issues with here and there. So all of these things will definitely have to get addressed for another event, but we are definitely noting things down, and we will also be asking all the players really to maybe give us their feedback if you have anything. The chats really are open. The hashtag feedback, you can use that to your advantage. We will also be doing a small feedback form for all of you to fill out and give us your direct feedback that we can check and see how we can improve this specific event in the future as well, so that this is going to get more organized, more on time, and of course, more fun as well.
There you go. That's the goal at the end of the day. Well, I think that's gonna do us here for the grand finals. We hope that you enjoyed the broadcast. I mean, any feedback you guys have on it as well. It's all in development. I think somebody in the Twitch chat was talking earlier. There isn't a dedicated spectator mode for this, which I do think makes things a little bit more difficult because we don't really have a free cam or somebody following these players around. So we kind of just got to work with what we got. But we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Of course, big thank you to all the players and the tournament organizers. You guys have been thanked profusely, and you deserve all of those thank yous. And of course, thank you guys as well for tuning in and supporting. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, if you stuck around and listened to all that on a post-game discussion here on the status of versus mode and versus mods and what's going to happen in the future, you probably already know about it, but just in case you don't, down there below the video you can find a link to the Discord. You can be part of the Fight the Tide Discord, find out more about upcoming events. Obviously, we do our Captain Series, we do now versus modes, and we do our more traditional Onslaught Series events, so plenty more opportunities there. And of course, you know, continue to support Vermintide 2. Get out there, join some of those pub games that Lonk was talking about, and get the numbers up for the versus mode and see how it develops. But for now, from all of us here at Fight the Tide, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.